In the Bible, the shofar is a calling for justice. Today, we call for justice. Today, we demand an end to the hatred and the violence against all people, regardless of religion, race, sex, sexual orientation, gender identity or expression, age or belief. September 26th, 2016, the 23rd of Elul, 5776. A letter to the future President of America. Dear Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump, you both know who I am, but you may not realize it. On Saturday night, I found my car vandalized, a hate crime against Jewish and LGBTQ people. I was parked in a garage next to the train station in New Carrollton, Maryland. I walked up to the car that I keep garaged there when I work at macharcar, the Washington Congregation for Secular Humanistic Judaism. I am a part-time rabbi, and I live in Philadelphia when I'm not working. I found the macharcar promotional magnets from the back of my car torn in half and strewn on the garage floor. The message I had written on the back window was mostly wiped off. It had said, "A Jewish community for today and tomorrow." Machar means tomorrow. "Take a magnet and find a home." I also had a rainbow Jewish star sticker on my car that had been ripped in half. If my descriptions aren't vivid enough, please visit my Facebook page, #macharcar, and you can see before and after photos. Last time I checked, it was illegal to rip my rainbow Jewish star off the back of my car. Last time I checked, I lived in a country where we fight for religious freedom. Actually, if I learned anything from my US history class in high school, I remember learning that this was the exact reason our country fought for independence. I could take this letter in a lot of directions. I'm going to make it personal. Hillary, when you started your bid for office, my dad was still alive. I asked him if he planned on voting for you. He said no. I was surprised. I said, "But Dad, there's a picture of you and Mom and Hillary Clinton downstairs in our house in Suffern." He told me that he needed a vote to pass back when he was CEO of MetLife, and that you had promised him that he had your vote. He knew that the vote would be tight, and in the end, you flipped your vote. My dad looked at me, and in that beautifully simple way that only Bob Benmosche can make a point, he said, "I didn't have her vote, she doesn't have mine." I want to believe that you will make America a safe place for my family. I want to believe that you will make sure America continues to change and recognize the value inherent in all of humanity. I want to believe, to quote the hit show Hamilton, that we're finally putting women in the sequel. But based on anecdotal experience, I don't know if I can believe what you say. I've been told that when Golda Meir was Prime Minister of Israel, she did nothing to advance the status of women because she had to prove herself to the men. I hope your support of women, Jews, LGBTQ folk, Black people, Latinos, and other minorities isn't just election talk. I just don't know if I can believe your words. Donald, you attended New York Military Academy with my dad. In his memoir, he mentions that when he met, that you told him you remembered him from your NEMA days, though you had been a few years younger than he was. I don't know if that was true, but hopefully you remember him now. He came out of retirement to take over at AIG from a place of civic duty. He saw it as living out the values he learned as a kid and at the military academy. He believed in service to his country. He saved us from financial ruin. He saved you and me and America. He wasn't a rich kid, not back then, not like you were. Back then, he was there as a favor to his mother, and he had to bus tables in the cafeteria 3 meals a day to help pay for his tuition. In the end of his life, he ran in the crowds of the elite, flying around the world in a private jet. But he grew up working poor. He grew up in debt. He grew up in an era when his grandfather changed our family last name at Ellis Island from Lichtenstein to Benmosche. In Hebrew, Ben means son, and Moshe means Moses. He named himself after his father, son of Moses, but put a French accent on the end, hoping that people would assume his family was French and they would be able to avoid discrimination as Jews. Donald, we don't know each other personally. You might not know that my children are all adopted and multiracial, except my son Eliashu. He's all black. He was born in Ethiopia. When the hashtag Black Lives Matter movement began, my daughter came home from school terrified that her little brother was going to get shot by the police. She was 11. He was 6. After Trayvon Martin was killed, my mother begged me to stop buying Eliashu hooded sweatshirts. My husband didn't want me to give Eliashu a winter hat that looked like Batman because it covered part of his face. We decided to give the hat to his 4-year-old blonde-haired, blue-eyed cousin. 4-year-old white kids can dress up like Batman. 6-year-old black kids who are tall for their age as is, well, I got his point. It wasn't worth the risk. My son is turning 9 this month. He's almost as tall as I am. We never allow him to play with toy guns, even though he begs us to buy him those Nerf guns that all the rest of his friends play with. We tell him we don't play with guns. We don't let guns in our house. What I haven't told him is that he definitely cannot ever have one or anything that looks like one because he's black. What I haven't taught him is that he needs to put his hands up, drop anything that's in them, and stop moving immediately if he's ever addressed by a police officer. I worry about my son. I worry that your campaign encourages and incites violence. I worry that you're not making America great again. I worry that you're starting us down the path of leaders like Hitler, Stalin, Pol Pot, the Ayatollah Khomeini, Slobodan Milosevic, and Omar al-Bashir. You're right. America is in trouble, and something needs to be done. My dad would have agreed with many of the points of your early campaign. Something needs to be done. But at what cost? At whose cost? I was raised to believe that no one is to blame for your problems. I was raised to believe that all people mattered. My dad believed that things in life didn't just happen to us. He believed that we were in control of our own destinies. On his tombstone are the words of one of his favorite quotes: "Destiny is not a matter of chance, it is a matter of choice. It is not a thing to be waited for, it is a thing to be achieved." You can choose a path that does not lead to more violence. You can choose a path that does not lead to more hate. You can choose a path that does not end with more of our children dying senselessly. I expect a response to the hate crime that I had to live through. I call on the Prince George's County Police Department to help me find justice. I call on all Americans to stop choosing hate and to start choosing love for the sake of humanity. As St. Francis of Assisi once prayed to God, today I beg of the two of you, be an instrument of peace. Where there is hatred, sow love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. I'll be getting ready for Rosh Hashanah tonight, instead of watching the two of you attack each other on national television. Just to remember, words matter, but actions matter more. The world is watching every promise you make and every value you claim. I beg you both to remember, to honor and uplift the humanity in us all. In hopes for peace, Rabbi Nehama Benmosche. Peace, salam, shalom. Peace, salam, shalom. Peace, salam, shalom. Peace, salam, shalom. Thank you for listening.